Nothing makes sense. The Jewish state of Israel is fighting the most just war on the planet right now, against an evil Arab-Muslim enemy that literally live streamed their invasion and brutal massacre of innocent Jewish women, children, and babies on October 7th, 2023. Yet the world, with the Biden administration at the helm, is pressuring Israel to cease fire instead of pressuring Iran, Qatar, Hamas, and Hezbollah to surrender and release our 134 remaining captives in Gaza. Nothing makes sense. However, we have an important saying in Judaism, Yeshuat Hashem ke'eref ayin. God's salvation can come in the blink of an eye. We must hold on to our faith in the Almighty above that things will turn out okay, even if we can't see it, even if all the signs point to more and more depressing news and sadness. I want to point out 3 miracles from October 7th. Yes, miracles from the most tragic day to befall the Jewish people since the Holocaust. It is important to internalize that even with the tragedy and the trauma we are living through, a much larger process is taking place, a spiritual process. And we must hold on to that process as we continue through these confusing and very sad times. Because the ending, believe it or not, will be good, very good. So I want to share with you the 3 miracles from October 7th. Miracle number 1 from October 7th is that a much greater massacre was stopped. Israel's army was unprepared for the invasion. Not only that, but it took hours for the IDF to organize and go down south to protect Israelis. Hours! There was no official army forces there to help protect them. However, upon hearing the news of the massacre on Shabbat morning, Simchat Torah of October 7th, hundreds of proud Jewish King David-like warriors left their families, left their homes. Some put on uniforms, some didn't have uniforms, some took guns, some didn't have guns, and they drove down south to fight the Hamas terrorists face to face. No orders given. They just went down. No organized units. They just went down like individuals who fought like lions and saved thousands and thousands of lives. Had they not run into the line of fire, literally going against basic human instinct, Hamas would have continued their brutal massacre into other Israeli cities. And who knows how many more innocent Israelis would have been massacred that day. It could have reached tens of thousands. So thank God for the proud Jewish warrior spirit we have in Israel today. And that's how I know that we will win this war despite the immoral pressure from the Western enlightened world and even some of our own weak senior IDF command. It's our proud new generation of young warriors who are winning this war on the ground, and we will win it to the end. Now let's talk about miracle number 2 from October 7th. Middle East and Islam expert Dr. Mordechai Kedar published months before the October 7th massacre that Iran was planning a multi-pronged surprise attack on Israel, shooting rockets at Israel from Iran, Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, and of course from Gaza. Miraculously, Hamas decided to start their attack on October 7th without coordinating with Iran first. So only Hamas attacked from Gaza. Nobody else. Hamas took Iran totally by surprise, and Israel was only attacked from Gaza, while Iran's original plan was to attack us with rockets and ground invasions from all of their proxy terrorist organizations all around us in the Middle East. Can you imagine the devastation Iran planned to afflict upon Israel? It would have been catastrophic. Instead, we were only attacked by Hamas in Gaza. While it was still a tragedy, it was supposed to be much, much worse. All of Israel would have been attacked and possibly even destroyed. And for that, even with the horrendous tragedy of October 7th, we must be thankful for this miracle. Now I want to share with you miracle number 3 from October 7th. This miracle is a much sadder miracle to talk about, and it hurts me so much to even think about it and verbalize it. But it is so important for people to hear it and internalize it because, yes, it is also a miracle. I will preface this third October 7th miracle by saying this. Right now, the Jewish people in Israel, right-wing, left-wing, religious, secular, etc., we are all united like never before to fight this war, except for a tiny, tiny, vocal and powerful, rich elite. Okay? Why are we all united? Because we know that our Arab Muslim enemies attacked us down south in an undisputed area of Israel, killing mostly left-wing Israeli Jews who actually believed peace was possible with our Arab Muslim enemies in Gaza, Judea, and Samaria. Now, imagine the following. If Hamas would have attacked us on October 7th with the same amount of terrorists, the same amount of massacred Jews, the same amount of raped women, the same amount of kidnapped Israelis, yet had attacked us Jewish settlers in Judea and Samaria instead. Think about that for a second. It saddens me to say this, but Israeli society would not have unified like it did post-October 7th. Instead, there would have been a massive campaign to blame us settlers for living in Judea and Samaria, that the attack happened because of where we live, and the pressure would have been placed upon us to evacuate us from our homes in Judea and Samaria. Israel would not have gone to war to end the evil against all of us. This is a very sad aspect to focus on, and nobody else really is saying it, but it must be said. We are only unified in this war today because we were attacked down south with victims that included right-wing, left-wing, religious, and secular. Had only settlers been the victims, the Jewish people in Israel today would not be unified, and we would not be at war to put an end to this evil enemy that wants to kill us all. Some people might ask, why is this a miracle at all? Well, for over 3 decades, ever since the disastrous Oslo peace process, I and many others have been publicly warning our fellow Jews that the whole cause called Palestine is really all about killing Jews, all Jews, and destroying the Jewish state of Israel. We are fighting a sick narrative led by politicians, security intelligence experts, journalists, and influencers in Israel and all over the world who blame the failure of peace on us proud Jewish settlers living where we live in Judea and Samaria. If only, this is what they say, if only we wouldn't be living in our ancestral lands of Judea and Samaria, aka the west bank of the Jordan River, then there would be peace. Right? That's what they've been pushing for decades. Their narrative blames us living in Judea and Samaria. And if the October 7th attack had happened in Judea and Samaria, with all the victims being settlers, resettlers as I call us, then that narrative would have stuck, continuing the disastrous narrative that then prevents the Jewish state of Israel from doing what needs to be done to properly defend ourselves, because the enemy and the motive of the enemy is erroneous, is wrong. So yes, it is miraculous that the narrative has finally changed to be focused on the truth. Our enemies hate us and kill us, not because of where we live, but because of who we are, Jews. And this narrative has only changed in Israel today because the attack took place outside of Gaza and not in Judea and Samaria. We don't want Jews to be killed anymore. We, the Jewish state of Israel, a blessing for every person who lives with us. Because like I like to tell you, only in Israel can a Sunni Muslim, a Shiite Muslim, a female Muslim, a gay Muslim, an atheist Muslim live with complete freedom and equality with Jews, Christians, and all other minorities. Yet, Israel is labeled the racist apartheid state, when Israel is the only non-racist apartheid state in the whole Arab Muslim Middle East. It's insane. That is the reality. Totally one lie after another lie. And it's the Jewish people in the Jewish state of Israel that suffer from this narrative of lies. However, we are experiencing a very important wake-up process. It's a painful wake-up process, but everyone has to internalize good times are coming, and you have to hold on and strengthen your faith. I made this video to help us focus on the not-so-small points of light within the overall horrific, tragic, dark, and traumatic reality that we are living in, because ultimately, we won't be able to defeat our enemies and properly protect ourselves until we get rid of the lying narratives of lies and focus on the truth of our reality. So stick with me at the Pulse of Israel for the inspiring, politically incorrect truth to get us to those better places, those better times. Within the sadness, anger, and confusion, there is also much good and light, and I'm giving that to you. The wake-up unifying process in the Jewish society today in Israel is one of those good things, together with the impact of the 3 miracles that I discussed with you today. Hashem, the one above, will provide his salvation in an instant, like the blink of an eye. If you are not yet a subscriber to my daily Pulse of Israel videos, then just go to pulseofisrael.com and click to subscribe. And to support our work, to have more people see these videos, every once in a while, click on the donate button on pulseofisrael.com. And everyone, hold on to the positive, hold on to the hope, strengthen your faith. Signing off for another episode of the Pulse of Israel here on eternal and ancestral homeland, land of Israel, in our beautiful, ancestral, biblical, and indivisible capital, Jerusalem, since King David's time. This is Avi Abelo from the Pulse of Israel.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.